So good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today we're in an area where I've never been before. I've got an appointment quite close to this area at 10 a.m. and I was thinking, well, maybe I can do a little sunrise shoot before that. As you can see, last year I had a double eye infection and I have the same thing again on my left eye. Really frustrating, so I hope it's not gonna spread to both my eyes. But yeah, it's quite difficult to get to an area that you don't know. You know, yesterday I looked at the map and I thought, I'm going there. And I'm actually treated with a very thin layer of mist above the header here. So I'm just gonna see if I can find some nice compositions. But yeah, no idea. So let's go and see what we can find today. So the most difficult thing about an area that you've never been is where do you start? You know, what is the good place to start? And my approach usually is to walk somewhere that you can look towards the sunrise. So for example, you see this is a giant open header field here and the sun is rising over there. So my idea was I'm going to walk to that side. So if the sun is rising, then I've got all that amazing light in an open area. But if you look up there, there probably ain't gonna be much sun this morning. So I'm just gonna see if I can use this fog somehow to create some sort of atmospheric image. And right in the middle of the field there are two trees that are popping above that little layer of fog. So I'm gonna put on the 40 to 150 and at least take that shot, that I have at least something to photograph today. Now we can do 40 to 150. But it's a bit of a boring image. But I'm gonna take it anyway, you know. Little blue hour shot, still take 5 minutes to sunrise. But yeah, you know, you gotta try something. I'm gonna leave the 40 to 150 on. And there's kind of a neat function on this camera. Do you see? You know, it follows me everywhere I go. You know, how cool is this? Probably my Osmo Pocket 2 could do also this, but I never noticed it. So right now I'm using the tree. And I just recently discovered this function, so quite happy with that. And I hope that will make for some better video material. So you see, no matter what I do, the camera keeps tracking my face. I'm just raising the tripod at the moment. There's a limit to what you can do. Okay, so just having some fun here on my own, you know, with all my friends. So, but at least I got all of you to join me. So, gonna take this shot. It is a bit boring, like I said. But I also see a better shot on that side, so you see, this might be a more interesting shot over here. You see, there's a tree in the field here, which stands out. And I'm gonna walk a little bit to this side to create some separation. You see, this is that shot that I saw on this side, and you can see we've got this layer of fog on the bottom. There is some interest in the sky, and why I moved to the right is because I wanted to separate this tree from the other tree over there. You can see when I go just a meter to the left, it intersects there, and that is something that I don't like. yeah, that's quite nice. I was putting on the other lens just a minute ago when I saw this shot that I took first change. You know, just look over here now. You can hopefully see that there's a lot more fog rolling around the tree, and by moving a little bit further to this side, I created some separation on top of the tree, and now it's standing above a piece of cloud that has a little color in it and a little detail. So I thought that was really nice. So I want to go to this shot. So eventually I just put the 40-150 back on and I went for this shot. I'm putting it in a 16:9 because there's not much interest on the right side. I'm still amazed that I still seem to find so many foggy days. You know, I don't know what it is, but like today, totally unexpected. I'm just walking around here, no planning, no knowledge of the area, and again some fog. And the strange thing is, there was nothing on my way here, so it really happened about 5 to 10 minutes before this reserve. But I'm taking it. I'm definitely taking it. So let's find some shots, stop brobbling around, and just make the most of this morning. Try to get some interesting shots here. So you can see that what I was thinking is that this fog is going to retreat very fast. And I just had a look at the maps, and I think I chose the wrong side of the reserve. You know, there's some fog on this side, but it's not. This side isn't that interesting. It's yeah, it's got no standout trees, no real subjects. There's a little lake in the forest here, but I just noticed that there is a path running by the edge of this forest to the other side, straight on towards those hills. And probably when I'm going to get there, the fog will be gone. But at least I have to try something, you know, or else it's gonna be a wasted morning anyway. Or at least wasted. It's never wasted, you know. I gained some knowledge. But this is how these mornings go sometimes. So I just wanted to show you that it isn't always easy. No, it isn't always clear what my subject is going to be. Things just seem to appear out of thin air sometimes, and sometimes things just don't. And then it becomes a massive struggle. Like this morning appears to do. Okay, so you can hear it on my breath. I'm running around here like a headless chicken, trying to make something of this morning. You know, this is how it is sometimes. And I was just walking across this path here on top of this row of hills that you can hopefully see in the back. I just came from the other side of that reserve, so that's why I have been running. You know, it smells like a fire here, which isn't really nice if you're walking around somewhere on your own with the smell of fire. You know, you don't want to be caught in a wildfire here. But catching my breath for a minute, what I noticed is this tree here on top of this hill. And I was just thinking, it's all a little bit boring, a little bit flat down there. And then I thought maybe I can do a shot, and I haven't been underneath here, so I'm gonna take you along with me just to see if this is interesting. But I hope this gives you a little bit of an idea what my thought process is when I walk somewhere. I got stuck on the tree here. Oh, let's go underneath this. So I was thinking, what if I use this tree here as a foreground element? So let's have a look. If I position you a little bit lower, now something like this, that might be interesting. So I'm going to get the camera out, play around a little bit, see if I can come up with some sort of an interesting composition using the shape of this tree as a huge foreground element. And I'm not sure, but I think there's something here. I have the feeling that there is something here. So let's at least give it a try. So this is my composition, and you can see I positioned those two trees in the background over there, and I deliberately pointed the camera up a little bit higher so that there are two other trees in the back just above this branch that's going from the left to the right through the frame. And that eventually looks like this. So I'm going to take a 5-shot bracket here that I'm going to combine in post-processing to one HDR shot, and hopefully that is going to work. And I'm also going to try a portrait frame now, because I noticed there are, I have to put the face detection off, a lot of these, yeah, I don't know the names of it in English, but I thought that would be a nice foreground element. So I'm going to try to use this, then the tree, and then that view in the back, but with the wide angle in a portrait, that backside is going to be, it's going to appear very far away, and I don't think it will add to the image. So I'm just going to try, see if it is something, and if it's not, then let me know in the comments. So while I was playing around here underneath this tree behind me, I'm just noticing that all the fog has gone. So let's see if we can find any other shots here today. But at least this is something, this was something. But I wish I would have found this when there was still a lot of more fog down there. But you know, next time. And in my experience, you know, I've been doing photography for quite some time now. In about 1 in 5 times you encounter the perfect conditions for a specific area that you're in, and 1 in 10 visits gives you that absolutely amazing image. So of course you can't take that portfolio worthy cracker image. There was a fly on the camera, did you see that? But 1 in 10 times, it's one of those horse flies, so don't like those around me. But 1 in 10 times gives you that absolute cracker shot. And it's not that you can't take a shot in one visit, of course you can. But usually coming back to an area gives you knowledge, experience, and that definitely works. You know, just look at this. If I would have been here this morning, that would have been great. Especially because on that side, you can see that's where the blue sky is, where the clouds are breaking, and the side of the sunrise is completely covered in clouds. So this would be a spot where I've been, or where I would go next time. And just look at a shot like this. Now it's quite boring now, but now look over here. You've got this nice S-curve path up to that hill. A couple of trees here. So I think if you, let's have a look, if you position it something like this, you can get a rather nice image. You see? And that's what I always look for, you know, look for possibilities when I'm somewhere for the first time. And this is definitely an area with potential and somewhere I could return in the future. But today it's, wow. So I think this will be the end of today's video. Not the best trip, not the best results, but at least I feel that this wasn't for nothing. And that's what I want to share with this video. It is always worth going out somewhere. And especially if you've never been there before. You know, I got a couple of images, you know, I've enjoyed myself. I've been out, I've let go of the stress for a couple of minutes, although I did run around like a headless chicken there at the start, but that's just different. And you know, for me it's all about learning. I learned about the area, I learned about weather conditions. What I also learned, and what's quite important, is that those silver birch trees here in the back, those yellow birch trees, they are actually starting to turn already. So in about 2 weeks, we will probably have some autumn colors. You know, that is important knowledge as a landscape photographer. The heather, I could see that some parts are already completely brown. So there's no heather flowering anymore at some point. So the heather season is at its end. So if I want to do some, purple heather conditions, photographs, then I have to do it this week. And all that knowledge is just important to create a little bit of experience, to know what I'm doing when I'm out here. So I hope I could share a little bit of the knowledge with you about my approach, my ideas. And that's the whole idea of this video, I guess. And hopefully those images worked out much better than I anticipate right now. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please push that thumbs up button, and there is a subscribe button underneath this video. If you push that and select all on the notification bell, you will get a message when I release my next video, which I have absolutely no idea of where that is going to be at the moment. You know, this is the kind of in-between phase between summer and autumn. The turning of the heather, the turning of the leaves. And in a few weeks' time we will get into autumn, which I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you on the next video. And don't forget, my book Out of the Darkness is now available to pre-order. It will probably be available for pre-orders until the end of September. So if you pre-order it now in combination with my 2026 calendar, you get a €10 discount. Yeah, that's it. Hope to see you next time. And there's a link to the book underneath this video. So thank you very much. Bye bye.